Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hi everyone. I'm Tanvi, and today I want to present or talk a little bit about something that's very close to my heart, which is the student stress level prediction model. As a student myself, I see this happening a lot around me. A lot of my friends, a lot of my juniors have faced extreme amounts of stress, may that be family level or personal or whatever that is, but they face a lot of stress. And usually, this is not you don't see it happening until it's very late, until the blood pressure suddenly spikes, or there's immediately some change in weight, stuff like that. So you don't really see until you see physical effects of that stress coming forward, which is why I wanted to build like a model that helps me uh, analyze or probably predict early stress predictors so that it is easier for students for that matter. So let me talk a little bit about my data. I utilized the student stress monitoring dataset from Kaggle. It contained around 1,100 students and 20 variables, out of which the 21st variable was the target class that I was looking at, which was stress level. All of these features range from academic performance to blood pressure to sleep, so on and so forth. The data was balanced pretty well. There was 373 low, medium, and high stress, as you can see over here. Um, and because of this balance, I did not need to do any other oversampling techniques, synthetic oversampling techniques like SMOT or anything. It allowed me to train on raw, unfiltered data. Um, Moving on, I used a supervised learning model. The data splitting, I used an 80-20 train test split. I used stratification so that it guaranteed that the class distribution remained identical in both the training and the testing sets, preventing any evaluation bias. I also applied a standard scaler to normalize the feature set. Uh, while the model that I ended up choosing did not require me to do this scaling, it was essential to create a level playing field so that for all the three models that I tested, so that it was easier to figure out which one is the best one. The minimum threshold that I set for my model was 85% because this is also the threshold required for clinical reliability of any other psychological or any other mental health related stuff. So the clinical reliability was 85%. Everything had to be above that. Any model falling below that would have been unfit. So as you can see here, I didn't just want to rely on one train test split. I also performed the five-fold cross-validation to test the model stability. Logistic regression, XGBoost, and random forest. XGBoost performed the poorest. The accuracy results were 87.3. The competition to choose which one was between logistic regression and random forest. So logistic regression, as you can see here, was around 88.2%, and random forest was 89.1%. Now, to choose between the two, I also performed the McNemar's statistical test to see which one has a greater p value. The p value was for random forest came uh, was greater than 0.05, which again is not statistically significant, but I still decided to choose random forest for two reasons. One was stress is not a linear, uh, you can't determine stress by just one thing. So one thing doesn't lead to the other. Stress is very complex, and random forest captures these non-linear complications a lot better than linear regression can. Um, and the explainability, random forest provided a robust feature importance, which is critical to explaining why a student is stressed, not just yes, a student is stressed, but basically why it's happening, analyzing the answers, and then giving that description. Um, here you can see the top five factors influencing student stress. Uh, the insight that I gathered from this was that the body speaks first. So the minute a person or an individual is experiencing stress, the body shows signs before it is registered mentally. So, for example, the blood pressure spikes, you sleep poorly, your heart rate increases, stuff like that. And as you can see, the physiological and health factors are the most, they're ranked the highest. And then came the psychological factors. So depression was ranked lower than academic performance, and self-esteem caused by stress was on level ninth. This also, like I said, suggests that stress manifests somatically or physically before it is registered psychologically. So this is again just my graphs for the key indicators and the heat map also. So which one, the relationship between the variables basically. We see strong negative correlations. I don't know if you can see over here. Yeah. So you can see that the negative, we can see negative correlations for protective factors. For example, high self-esteem is or strongly correlates to lower stress. So the higher the stress, the lower your self-esteem is.
Tanvi, we only have 2 more minutes
Sorry,
for
I'll
this
just.
present. So yeah, could you wrap
Uh,
it?
so I also ran like an optimization test, and then that increased my accuracy for the model to 90.9%, which was an 1.82 improvement. Uh, it's a minor improvement, but still major in terms of health and looking at mental health. Um,
No, it's actually a big improvement. Like if you see, it's a 10% improvement because error dropped from 11 to 10, 9, right? Good.
so these were the 90.9% accuracy that I increased it to. I examined the F1 scores also to ensure that we weren't just predicting the majority class. So the medium stress for this low and medium and high stress, the medium stress scores was 91% and low and high stress was 88%. This consistency across all three classes proved that the model was accurate, and it comfortably exceeded my 85% threshold. So this is whatever all the things that I used and what I based my research on. For practical deployment, I mean, a model is only useful if it can be deployed. And one thing I want to make sure is students all across everywhere, for counselors or professors or teachers to know when it starts becoming stressful for the student so that it's flagged earlier and it doesn't cause any problems later on. I want to in the future do like a more longitudinal analysis, like of many many years and not just one snapshot of what it was right now. I also plan to look at age and gender to see if there's a bias for only male or only female or only younger students or elder students if they get better at handling stress. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tanvi.